everybody, and welcome to Zelda Speedruns, broadcasting the Z2R Max Rando Tournament 2022. We got Swiss Round 2 for you today. It's jkoper versus Ellendar. Commentating for us is Animus United and Mirai, and tracking is myself. Say hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everyone. Great to see everyone today.
Very exciting race here between these two runners, jkoper and Ellendar. I think, personally, I think they're pretty evenly matched here. What do you know about these two runners, Animus?
I've certainly seen Ellendar in the standard tournament. Made some waves through that. Haven't seen Ellendar as much lately, as well as jkoper, but I know with the races that I've watched them participate in that both are very formidable and bring great challenges to anyone that they face. So I'm really excited about this. I think this is going to be one of the best matchups that we've had up to date so far.
Yeah, this is a pretty even matchup, I think. Both of them have several years of Z2R under their belts. They're both very good players. I think jkoper has a little bit more seniority overall. I think he's probably a little bit more old school than Ellendar is, but obviously 4.0 and its changes that it brought last year kind of flips anything pre 4.0 on its head. So whoever knows 4.0 a little bit better here, this is what makes it kind of even. I think they're both at the same level. They understand routing. They understand what they need to do to finish a seed, and they're both very capable of doing that.
Yeah, and certainly, especially in Max Rando, it's going to be about how quickly can you recognize the items, what the seed is going to entail, and how quickly can you react to it. I know for me personally, sometimes when I have an item in a Max Rando, I forget that I have it, and so it's easy to just waste time doing some minor stuff like that.
Yeah, that's a thing for sure. Starting with items and not picking them up, yeah, you can forget that you have those things. But it looks like we have a lot of things to start with here, as we can see in the tracker down below. Things are going to be kind of wide open for them right from the get-go.
Yeah, and it looks like we have could be a river in the middle as far as this west goes. We have thunder and jump, so those are two really good to have. Shield is going to be trophy blocked, but we have glove, we have mini keys, so it could be interesting to see if the runners are going to jump into palaces immediately.
Yeah, there's something to that. With one heart container, I don't know, we might see a small bit of grinding. We might see some searching for additional heart containers, things of that nature. I don't know if I would immediately jump into a palace right away. I mean, depends. You just got to kind of feel out the situation, and looks kind of, I'm not sure here. Are we Island Z or not?
Yeah, it could be islands. I didn't. I thought that might have been a river at first, but yeah, it looks like it could be islands or maybe even vanilla-like. It's still too hard for me to tell, but yeah, Trophy Cave having the magic container is really nice early on as well to be able to get 5 magic containers.
I didn't catch what was in. Oh, that's Raru. That's he has thunder already. That's right. So he's
so this is thunder jump. Go west to find the boots. Oh, well, that would be very helpful. So.
jkoper getting no, go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was just going to say, I'm sure Ellendar is going to jump right ahead and look through some caves or the grass tile for the boots.
Yeah, it looks like he's leaving a cave over. I saw the edge of his screen on the eastern edge. It looks like he might be leaving a cave behind him. I have no idea if it's a pass-through or an item cave. He won't be checking. He's just going to go across this land bridge, take a bop from the bubble, and land in the water there.
I think that was Jump Cave that he had already checked, unless that was a different cave that I saw. I know he saw Jump Cave on one of them. jkoper was able to get the 5th magic container and was able to get to Life 2 and Magic 2, so that would be very helpful as well.
Yeah, I was a little worried there that he was going to end up taking a game over in Trophy Cave there. He was taking a few deaths to that dire at the end, where Ellendar just cast jump and just shot over him and got that container and got out. So Ellendar has that small bit of lead, but it's so early in the game that it's not necessarily too much, and especially with the items that they start with.
Yeah, so Ellendar just picked up the flute on the grass tile, so there's a lot of items on the west here, if we're having the boots as well. pretty much the only thing, maybe the child or medicine might be needed for like fairy if they wanted that. But it looks like outside of that and maybe the hammer, that could pretty much be the only thing that's blocking them from clearing this out pretty easily, I would say.
Ellendar getting a little beat up here in a Heart Container Cave. There's a bouncy cat right here in this little corner, and it's difficult to get this bouncy cat. I'm familiar with this setup here where the cat just will not come into your little area. It keeps hitting the ceiling in a certain way and bouncing away from you, but it's annoying to go outside of that area because you take the bop, low Heart Containers, you take the damage, and wow.
And there's the boots for Ellendar, so that's going to make navigating this a lot easier. And that was a very big hint that Ellendar picked up as well, that jkoper might not pick up. So, but I have a feeling that jkoper is going to look through these item caves and especially the grass tile pretty good as well. So I don't feel like he's going to be too far behind in that regard.
Yeah, with the one Heart Container, it would be silly not to check every single item cave you could here on the west to see if you could just find one extra Heart Container. So he will definitely come across these boots here in this Heart Container Cave if he makes it through the bots. And then the bouncy cat gonna smack him twice. That's a death. He'll have to try that again.
Yeah, absolutely. It does look like that this could be kind of islandsy now, and it makes me think that you probably couldn't beat the sea without the boots in the first place. So that's probably something that jkoper's looking for anyway.
Yeah, we'll have to see both sides of the map. We see the edge here, and it's the ocean, and so that gives you the idea that it might be islands, but that doesn't necessarily give us the full picture. There might be, say, a mountain range on the other side, which then would make it kind of vanilla-like. I don't know. It's always a little fun trying to decipher what type of biome you're in when you're first playing.
Yeah, and that's the really cool thing about this randomizer compared to other randomizers is you just really get a new fresh experience every time with the map randomizer, as well as the palace randomizer as well, but especially the map randomizer. I think that's what attracts someone like me to get a fresh new experience every time. And unfortunate game over for Ellendar there at Feedback Cave. There was just a lot of tough enemies there.
Yeah, it's something when you're on that last life, you've got one Heart Container, it might be worth just pushing past those enemies, take the, jump across the tops of the pillars there and get yourself to that second screen, get the item out of there, and then worry about killing those enemies on the way back out if you really want that experience. Otherwise, you end up taking that damage, taking that game over, and now he's got to head all the way back there.
So jkoper looked like he was going to pick up down stab, but he might already have down stab.
Yeah, Ellendar is showing us.
Yeah, so they both started with down stab, so that's why he exited that as well. Because I was going to say, jump was castable at 47, and maybe you want to pick up the hint as well, but you don't necessarily need reflect. It doesn't look like the seed. And jkoper's found connector, so it's a vanilla east. It looks like it's just a regular vanilla, not shuffled. So that flute pickup's going to be really nice.
Yeah, essential. Well, I don't want to say required. We have, I forgot how many gems we have. Is it a 4 or 2 gemmer?
Four gem. It's
okay.
A 4 gemmer. So the likelihood of, GP or another palace being beyond there could be pretty high since there's 2 beyond the River Devil. So that's definitely a nice pickup to get early on.
Yeah, interested to know where that raft tile is going to lead then. Is that going to be our Maison connector or our Death Mountain? We see a Death Mountain. No, we do not see a Death Mountain. This is not a Death Mountain.
No, this is just another section of the west. jkoper's found a candle, so everything's lit up now.
Ellendar also found a Heart Container in that pillar cave there where he took the game over the first time.
Yeah, that's going to be a really nice pickup. You definitely feel a lot more confident with 2 Heart Containers as opposed to 1. I know for me personally, I would be looking through item caves to find, a second or a third Heart Container, even just to reduce the amount of damage that you're going to take, even with high life levels.
Yeah, and I don't know how long jkoper is going to hang out over here in the east, knowing that the east is always going to be more difficult, especially at these lower levels, and especially at one Heart Container. I would probably want to get back to the west ASAP. It's wide open with those boots. There's still plenty of item caves to check out, and especially that heart sitting over there that he's probably really trying to find here. But we'll see what's in Sunken Peabag Cave here.
Yeah, there's these 2 free items that are over here in Vanilla East, Sunken Peabag Cave and the water tile that's just, too good not to pass up, even if you're not going to go past the River Devil, so I like this play here.
Gets his trophy, which was, I forget what that was.
Which was
shield,
I believe. So, yeah, that's a really nice pickup to, especially when you're going to have low heart containers. I think most of the time you'd probably rather have shield just because you'll get the extra damage, and life's probably not going to be too useful with 1 heart container.
Takes the bop from the long ball from the Zora halfway or most of the way across the screen there. Has to walk the entire thing again. Hate it when that happens.
Yeah, I'm guessing he either wants more experience or is looking to explore a little bit more in the east. Otherwise, I would have expected him to have updated there.
Yeah, he wants to check the does he want life at this stage? I guess he does. Might also want to check the
Ellendar is going. Meanwhile, Ellendar is going to check out P1.
Okay, so that is our 3rd palace over on the west, and we got 1, 3, and 6. So that leaves 2, 4, 2, 3, 2, 4, 5, 2. Wait, what? 2, 4, 5, and GP elsewhere. We'll have to see if Maze Island is going to be required or not here.
Yeah, that's a good point. But with the raft tile, that shouldn't be really a big problem to get into Maze Island.
Yeah,
if that is required.
I would, we've got the raft here just west of Nabooru. I'm hoping jkoper checks that and shows us what that is.
Yeah, definitely. This is the vanilla P6 drop. I guess Ellendar is looking for the P bag over there. I was going to say, I wasn't sure if Ellendar recognized that he was going to have to go down this drop.
Yeah, jkoper also doing a lot of P-bag digging here, as we saw him on the desert tile just south of the Ocean Palace location, and then coming into this tile here, knowing that there is very likely going to be a P-bag as opposed to something like a 1-up. And this one here is, there's just a ferry, that's right.
Yeah, especially with vanilla maps like we see today, having that vanilla knowledge is really nice to have. And the answer is solved. The raft takes us to Death Mountain.
So that means our Maze Island connector is going to be a cave, either in Death Mountain and or still on the west somewhere.
Yeah, if I were jkoper, I probably wouldn't dig out Death Mountain just because you don't have the hammer. We did see the rock, but you don't have the hammer, so you can't get that free item. And digging out the caves in Death Mountain right now just feels like it would take quite a while, especially on a 4-gen seed. Meanwhile, Ellendar is grinding some experience in P1. It is a little unusual to see a drop in P1, so I'm sure that was probably why Ellendar was a little hesitant to take that at first, but it's still usually a pretty short one, but he's found the item, so let's see what that entails.
Yeah, probably hoping for attack 3 sooner than later here, because it looks like attack 2 is definitely feeling like an attack 2.
Yeah, sometimes the attack can be bad, even up to attack 6. Sometimes you just are unlucky with the roll, so...
My favorite types of seeds.
And yeah, that's a 3rd heart container, so... it looks like the heart containers in this seed are nice as well, so... not shaping up to be a pretty nice seed today.
Yeah, jkoper needs to get back to the west, find that heart container in the item cave, and jump into P1 as well. And
well, it looks like he's found a connector from Death Mountain to the west.
So that means we have then just one cave still sitting either in Death Mountain or on the west now that's going to take us to Maze Island if it's even required.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would probably put that on the back of my back in my mind at the moment. I guess the worst case scenario is you're doing a 50-50 between the Valley of Death and Maze Island, but yeah, at this point I would be looking into getting into palaces, which jkoper is doing right now as well.
Did we see the palace check in the east in the water?
I didn't see him go into it, I just saw him go into the water tile and go straight to Sunken Feedback Cave, so I don't think he checked it.
I guess the sooner you can figure out where GP is, the sooner you can figure out your overall routing. Knowing whether or not... Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, that's a great... Oh, sorry. Yeah, that's a great point, Trails. We were talking about needing to enter palaces, and luckily he finds the connector that's right next to P1 to enter palaces.
Yeah, I think Ellendar saw that as well, which is why I thought I saw Ellendar kind of transport, and that's why I initially thought he found Death Mountain, but then I saw the boulder block cave. I'm like, well, there's no boulder block caves in Death Mountain, so he must have come back to the west. But it must have been a quick check that I missed the first initial check into Death Mountain. Then I saw him come back thinking that he actually changed, but he was just returning to the west as it was.
Absolutely, and we want to welcome our raiders from Zelda Speedruns. We hope you're enjoying yourselves today. We've got a great matchup between jkoper and Ellendar in our Zelda 2 Randomizer Max Rando tournament. So you're in for a treat for some map randomization, some palace randomization, and all sorts of fun.
Yeah, I don't think we saw the item in P1 there, so Ellendar... Oh, no, we did. It's a heart container.
Yeah, the heart container. So, yeah, that'd be a nice pickup if jkoper can come across it. No, we have not seen the fire spell yet. And haven't seen any of the other spells that have, could possibly give us a clue as to what it's linked to either, so that could come into play as well. I have noticed that some of the spells, you probably run into this too, Mirai, but some of the spells do not give you the indication of fire from the other side.
It does happen. I don't know if it's linked to the spell based on that, or if there's something with the position of the spell in the spell book. I know that the position of the spell, if that spell originally flashes the screen, so if you have the jump spell in the thunder spot, when you cast jump, it will flash the screen as if you're casting thunder. Although you are not casting thunder, you're just casting jump. So there is something, perhaps either spellbook attached to the spellbook that causes that, or a slight just bug, perhaps, that it just doesn't fire off the fire spell at the same time, even though it may be linked.
So a few observations. First of all, Ellendar found another magic container, and second of all, he answered the question for us that the Maze Island connector is in the west. So now we're going to get to see what exactly this Palace of Maze Island entails, and it's saves us a Death Mountain dig as well. So the west had a lot of connectors today.
Yeah, so each of our runners have a little bit of information that the other doesn't, especially coming down to this P1 item that, as Trails has pointed out in chat, we did see jkoper dip into the bottom of that elevator there, which was the item room, but then decide not to take that and instead go up one level and then to the right. So he is missing out on his first heart container pickup there.
Well, he game over. He actually game overed in that room before he picked up the items, so I think that was the issue there. But meanwhile, Ellendar shows us in Maze Island that Maze Island entails a magic container and the hammer, so 7 magic containers for Ellendar, and also the hammer, so Maze Island is locked and loaded today. And I believe, is this P2 that is on Maze Island?
I didn't see the check, but I was going to say that my gamble is on it being P2. I don't think Ellendar would have just jumped into P5, Life 4, 3 heart containers, I'm not sure. But I don't think that's Ellendar's style to just go in on Guma this early on with these stats.
I would have to say that's probably not a lot of people's styles, especially with P3 and P6 being on the west. So exactly. I'm going to assume that's P2. Okay. Yeah, so jkoper does appear to be skipping the item, is what Trails is saying, which is a little unfortunate because we know it is a heart container, but I don't believe he knew that it was a heart container because he game overed in that room, so So Ellendar is upping out of there. It looks like that palace is a little bit more than he wants to deal with, which can't blame you. Even if it is P2, P2 can sometimes not be as clear cut as, say, Palace 3 or Palace 1.
Yeah, his other choices, though, are to go find 5 or 4. No reflect, so I don't know. I didn't see which room he was in, what issues he may have been having. I guess he maybe just wanted to explore over here in the east. If we knew it was the east, he didn't. Now he does, and yeah, he's definitely going to be familiar with the layout of this continent. Oh, jkoper has returned.
Yeah, he's returned to this item, so this will be good. I know he's lost a few lives. I think he is on his last life again, so yeah, he should be able to get this even still. Ellendar is going to light the way as well with the candle.
I don't know how liberal jkoper's been with his cast of shield. Seems like it probably would have been keeping him alive a little bit better in here overall.
He hasn't picked it up yet. So
jkoper? He picked it up from Nibiru, I thought.
Oh, did he?
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. Oh my god. Totally forgetting that it's in Rando.
Yeah, he picked up the trophy, which gets you shield, but I never.
He picked up life in Nibiru.
Yeah. So he got the life spell instead of the shield spell. So he can pick up the shield spell right now.
Yeah, that was just on the back of my mind, thinking that he would be better off if he did grab that shield spell with these low heart containers versus Ellendar's position, but then Ellendar found another heart container at that point, putting him at 3. And so that was just all just sitting in the back of my mind, and I just forgot he had not picked that up at this point.
So jkoper is going to get a magic container. Let's see what. Okay, so yes, he's picking up a life spell as well. Ellendar is, so that'll be nice for him as well. Going to up A out of the east now.
Yeah, the only check he didn't. Well, he did look at the water. Well, he did look at the water tile. Did he look at the sunken P-back cave? I don't think he did. He hit the town and then he was out.
Yeah. I didn't see if I didn't see if Ellendar checked the palace on water either. I'm not sure if he did. So
it's so funny that we're just one palace. We see both of our runners on the water tile, but then all of a sudden we can't recall if they checked the palace. And if Chad can help us out with that, I don't know if we've seen either runner check that palace, even though both of them walked to the water tile just north of there.
I know for sure jkoper did, and I can't say for Ellendar. So okay, so they're saying it's GP. Okay, so that's a nice.
All right, well then, yeah, no flute required, and freaking Ellendar has that knowledge, and jkoper does not until he finds Maze Island and learns that P2 is there, that they don't need to go to the south side, at least at this point, unless Fairy is down there and they really want it. They don't need to go to the south side of the east, which is nice for routing overall, if that's the case, but it might not be. Oh, no. Was it worth 200 points, Ellendar?
Yeah, that's a good point, and Fairy could either be on the south side or it could be child locked. We don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Have not seen that as well. We don't know if they have upstab either, so yeah, if they really want Fairy, or maybe there's a Fairy locked room in GP, that can certainly happen as well. They might have to backtrack and check out that as a potential option as well.
Yeah, I don't know if I would have gone over to Darunia to see what that was. I might have, based on maybe meeting Fairy. I'm not sure. In the heat of the moment, I probably would have just gone south to do those checks. Probably not walked back up north, but I may have. It's I don't know. Different things happen when you're in the middle of a race. You're just trying to go, go, go. Your opponent is not a bad player, not a new player, definitely a veteran player. And yeah, so maybe both of them made that choice. So maybe I would have made the same choice as well.
Yeah, especially since it's a tough hike there and back, just for upstab and just to check a spell item. You don't want to go there twice, so I agree with that move as well. The same with going to the south side as well. That's just a long encounter walk as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Valley of Death, just all the different encounters you get before the Valley of Death. So you want to do those all in one trip for sure. So we got runners in 2 different palaces. This is P6 for Ellendar because we see Barba outside.
The other thing we saw in P6 were blue iron knuckle drippers, and I don't know how much those would have been worth. We saw it at the last moment as Ellendar exited one of those, just one of those screens that had a dripper in there. I don't know if he saw that. If he did, or if I did, I might have come back and tried to grind a little bit at this point. I don't know. Especially with just trying to get some life levels up, maybe 1 extra life level, and then knowing you're in 6, you know, Barba's probably going to give you a large serving of experience here. So I don't know. I don't know if he saw that and he just skipped it, or if he just slightly missed it as he walked out of the room.
Yeah, I mean, he only has 16 experience right now, and with Barba being right here, my guess would be he just wants to see how much Barba's going to drop, and then if you're experience away from another level, I think at that point is when you look at the item grinders. But it looks like attack 3 isn't much better than attack 2.
Yeah, I don't.
Quite a while.
I don't know. I always say this. I don't know vanilla strengths and how they ultimately feel like just playing the standard vanilla game. So it's difficult for me to compare that, even when I'm in the hot seat and racing myself. I just think, well, maybe the boss has a little bit extra health. Maybe my attack is a little bit weak. You know, it could be a few different factors involved that you just don't know. You'd have to you'd have to be like a vanilla runner to really get that true feedback.
Yeah, absolutely. And it looks like we were wrong on our guess as far as whether that was P2 or P5, because jkoper that this was P5, and so that's a good reason as to why Ellendar up 8 out of there. And a nice Guma find as well, so this is going to be 2 difficult fights all at the same time. But it looks like Ellendar is making some great progress on the Barba right now.
Yeah, we got jump strats.
I was a little bit worried about that. Yeah, nice 700 points. That's going to give him a level. And going to be able to get a double level out of this, so that's going to be really good. Meanwhile, this is going to be a really tough fight. It looks like it's a one-hitter as well, so...
Yeah, jkoper not happy about that one there.
And yeah, he does not have the shield still, so yeah, this is going to be a one-hitter.
Ouch!
It's going to be a really tough fight.
And I just want to bring this to everyone's attention here. We do have a wild dig shake in the audience there. Hello, sir. Your game is being played. Welcome to the arena as an audience member.
Being played at the highest level right now.
Yeah, very true, yes.
Alright, and it looks like Ellendar with 2 gems placed is going off to P3 to hopefully find a quick reload hack.
Yeah, I'm trying to think back to what Ellendar might have been thinking jumping into 5, because I said he wouldn't make that gamble, but then he did, as jkoper shows us that it is 5, and I'm thinking maybe Ellendar is trying to be a little bit more aggressive in his gameplay here, jumping into 5, and then finally thinking to himself, what the hell am I doing? This is P5, get out of here, you know? Maybe something like that occurred, and he's like, I don't really want to fight Barba, do I? I mean, fight Guma, do I at this level? As jkoper is showing us that this is not a fun fight, then you got to do it flawlessly.
Yeah, I'm guessing looks like the P3 item is a huge jar. Not very helpful. My guess would be, you're just looking to see whether Guma was just real quick,
It's possible, yeah.
In a room or 2, and then, that's just a quick, easy boss fight. I'm right here, might as well check. And
I'm sorry, Guma's a quick, easy boss fight?
No, certainly not, especially with these low levels.
I hear you.
But just, a quick, easy check, I guess.
Yeah. jkoper did get back in, though. I don't know if he's going to head back to Guma. Oh, I said it, and he's out. Quick save, up and A, get out of there, back to the west. We'll see where he goes, back to either 3 or 6 at this point, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think he would definitely pick up shield right now. Yeah, I think that's what he's doing right now. Yeah, you got the trophy, you're at such low lives, you might as well cash in at this point.
Yeah, he needs to get back to these item caves. We know that there's another heart container just waiting for him in an unexplored item cave at this point. So he needs to get back there and full clear this west at this point, because that's going to help him. That's going to increase his health right now by 50%. With shield on top of that, he'll be in good shape.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely the shield, and I think this is what he's thinking as well. It's going to give him, if nothing else, an extra buffer. It should, even with these levels, be able to get 2 hits in as opposed to just a 1 shot.
Ellendar trying to beat up some blue iron knuckles in the corridor here, getting beat up himself. Tech 3 not able to make mincemeat of these guys too easily.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a situation where you just want to get through as quick as possible. They were in a little bit of a tricky position for sure.
This is going to be a dead end for Ellendar there. He up an ace and he's back to start.
Yeah, I was thinking that was a dead end move, but definitely needed to go by the expert here. That's more familiar with the rooms than even I.
Not entirely sure what the denominations of P-Bag that we're seeing here. We saw the 150 there, but I don't know. We haven't seen anything like 500. 150 or 200 might be the max that we're seeing in this one already. I haven't been keeping track.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Nothing too extraordinary.
Nah, I haven't. I would be pretty surprised if it's in this pool from what we've seen so far. I don't remember. Has Ellendar seen Medicine Gate?
I am not sure. I don't believe so.
That's just a 200-point P-bag, so doesn't appear much has been missed here.
This P3 is beating up Ellendar a little bit. A lot of Doom Knockers, a lot of Blue Iron Knuckles. These are the P3s that you don't like to see. You go into P3 expecting, I have downstab, this is going to be simple. Rebanak is a very easy little corner kill. And unfortunately, he's getting quite beat up here in these low heart containers with life 5. And he didn't do that check south of Nibiru into the item cave on the east there to get the trophy like jkoper did. He got the life spell and got out of there. He didn't even check the raft tile or anything else at that point. He just left, but this is where if jkoper can find that third heart container, he will be in really good shape with that shield spell. And he might be in better shape right now with the shield spell, given only he has one less heart container compared to Ellendar.
Yeah, this is a really tricky jump, especially coming from the other side that Ellendar is having to do right here. Ellendar is showing us that this was not a very quick P3 at all. There's a lot of dead ends in this P3, and very specific path that you're having to go through in this P3. So on top of the tough enemy set, this is just a very long-winded P3. So like we were saying before, usually you go to P3 thinking it's going to be a pretty short path to go on top of the boss being a lot easier than the other bosses. That's just not being the case today.
Yeah, it's frustrating going to P3. Like, again, yeah, you think it's going to be quick and easy, and then all of a sudden it's just loops and dead ends and terrible enemy set, and you're like, oh my god, when is this going to end? I think jkoper's back in 1. I don't think he's actually placed the gem in 1, so we did see him dip out earlier. So I think he's back in here to actually kill Horsehead and place the gem.
Yeah, he did not face the boss yet. He just picked up the item and update out. I think it was on his last life when he picked up the item, so I think that was his rationale as to updating at that point.
Ellendar taking a beam to the knee, and that's going to send him down in that attempt.
Yeah, even at life 5, if you're just not able to get that positioning correct, that's it's only going to be a few sword beams for Rebanak here, so...
Yeah, we talk about this somewhat often, is that on Rebanak and Blue Iron Knuckles, I believe I have this correct, is that you want to body them and not take their beams, whereas the opposite is true of the Foca in GP, where you'd rather take their beams than body them, because they do a ton of damage if they touch you.
Yeah, Absolutely.
Yeah, they can do, the birds in GP can do upwards of 2 heart containers of damage. So that's pretty damaging overall, especially at lower life levels. They can do a lot of damage.
Well, it looks like so far, unless GP is going to have a little troll for us, Ellendar is in really good position with 3 gems placed, and meanwhile it looks like jkoper is set to place his first gem.
Yeah, I don't know if Ellendar is going to go back to P5 or if he's going to travel south in the east. Well, I guess this is our answer here.
Yeah, it's a tough call, but especially when you know that there's a possibility that ferries down there as well, you might be tempted to go down south, but also P5 is just right here, so you're not 100% sure you even need ferry in the first place, so why take the extra time?
Yeah, I mean, you could go either way for sure. You know, that would be something in my mind as well, just going back and forth, gambling, thinking, well, you know, you'd have the knowledge of where ferry's at. It could be easily accessible in something like Old Kasuto. I don't think they have that spell at the bottom. You know, and something easy could be, I say easy, but it could be P4 in Three-Eyed Rock spot, which means then all of a sudden you got to go into Death Valley to go take out the final palace there. And do you want to do that? Do you really want to do that? I mean, that's a lot of time for it to be in Death Valley, and then you're like, geez, this is one hell of a trip, and this is a lot of time that I'm spending. And P5, Life 5, still doesn't have shield though. I'm not sure. I think it's still going to be a one hit from Guma. If not, it's going to be very close.
Yeah, jkoper had 2 heart containers and it was a 1 hit, so we'll see if the extra heart container makes the difference. Again, Ellendar doesn't know where the trophy is, so it's you know, not a guarantee that you'll be able to find it very quickly, so I can't blame him for not digging that when, you know, shield's behind trophy.
Ellendar tempted by the drippers, but they get him.
Yeah, you know, I probably wouldn't be tempted just because, you know, you're, 700 points away. Z2R math is, my Z2R math skills are coming into play here, but that's just such a far away points that you have to get to that I'd probably just keep going like he's doing.
That's a tough room to get him as well, with those low ceilings like that, especially when they're trying to beam you from their position. If you don't get them right away as they spawn, then it becomes a lot more difficult to smack them, especially if you're going to die in 1 hit there.
Yeah, no, those are only 70 as well, so not really friendly as well, so...
I don't remember if this is 3 or 6. I think it's 6 that jkoper is in, if I'm not mistaken. He's gonna. This is yeah. Yeah, because this is the room with the drippers that I saw Ellendar first see the blue iron knuckle. When I first noted it, this is where I first saw them come out of as Ellendar was leaving the room. jkoper thinking about it, but nope, gonna ultimately walk out of there as well.
I do know that Guma was not coming from an elevator, so I did not exactly remember which path jkoper took, but it didn't seem like he had too much of a trouble finding Guma, but you know, as big as P5 is, it could have just taken a left or a right somewhere that
yeah.
take.
I think we're about to see Barba on jkoper's side, and I'm wondering if we saw the item in P5 yet?
I did not see it.
I don't remember what was in 6. I know blue jar in 3, heart container in 1, and I don't remember if we saw anything in 5 at this point.
Yeah, I don't think we saw 6, the item in 6 either, so... We'll see if attack 4 is a little bit more common than attack 3 for Barba.
It may just be that Barba has more health. For anyone who's not familiar with this in the audience, is that bosses can roll up or down in health, and if they roll down, then they are visibly missing bars on their health bar when you first start to fight. But if they roll up, there's only so many health bars that are displayed, but internally in the memory of the game, the boss will have more health, and it just takes a lot more hits to get that first bar taken off of him. But he could have, upwards of something like 3-ish more bars, I think, that you just can't see. I don't know the exact values there, but yeah.
Yeah, but it is apparent that Attack 4 is a lot better than Attack 3.
Oh, yeah.
Really taking this bar bed to the woodshed here.
Oh! Lighting his shoelaces on fire there. Not cool. jkoper not happy about this performance today.
Yeah, it's really frustrating with the lower heart containers than normal to get one-shotted by bosses.
Ellendar still cruising around P5, trying to find the big Viking guy who has a flail for a weapon here. Unsuccessful so far.
Yeah, there's a good chance we're gonna come across the item on P5.
That's what I'm hoping. That's what I'm hoping to see. Yeah.
Because I have a hunch that Ellendar is just not really right on the right track at all. There's a turn like right at the beginning that he missed. So this could be a really long P5.
Yeah, jkoper, when he died, he had 1 or 2 bars left to take off a bar, but he was very close, and then takes that death. That's what stings even more.
Yeah, absolutely. And would have been a really good chance for jkoper to catch up as well. He's still in a pretty good position since Ellendar is still mingling around P5, but yeah, you definitely feel the sting after a race if you get these boss deaths. That's what really makes you feel it at the end.
Also trying not to take a lava bath, I would imagine. Oh, Jesus. jkoper, you're giving me a heart attack over here.
Yeah, you definitely are. And it does look like jkoper is going to grind out the last few levels here. Can't find them.
Yeah, this is always a tough decision when you're in a race, especially if you have to go back several rooms to find experience. It's like, oh man, at what point do you just kind of give up? Especially, he's got a bag here he can grab. That's going to give him, that is going to give him the level, yep.
Yeah, 200 point payback, so that was really good. He still has enough lives to take his death here. Yeah, he's got plenty of lives, so not too bad of a detour there. And the medicine is in P5.
Do we remember what was in Mito?
I believe it might have been Reflect. Yeah, it's Reflect. I see it on Ellendar's screen, so it is Reflect. That is.
Okay.
So that is the second gem place for jkoper, and going to be on P6. Meanwhile, Ellendar has found a dead end at P5, so might just up A here and.
Oh wow, that's a lot of time.
Yeah, so it looks like Ellendar is going to take the gamble and go south. So instead of going around P5.
If this is Reflect that he can pick up with medicine, I mean, going south, it doesn't even matter what's on 3-eyed rock now. 2 or 4. Now he can at least do 4 if he goes and gets the medicine. Goes and gets Reflect.
Yeah, that's a good point as well. So
5 is just too frustrating at these levels.
Yeah, it's not even the fact of Guma. It's just finding Guma in the first place is the big issue.
Yeah, it's not a bad call. I don't know. I mean, he could have gotten to Guma, but then maybe might have just gotten frustrated on getting killed. Again, we don't know if it was a one-shot or not. He had I guess when we were first talking about it, he had like 5. Now he's got like 6. But you know, whether that would have been a one-shot still, who knows? He's not going to be able to show us. But it's, you know, it's a call that I can agree with. I would, as a Z2R coach, I would say you take that time loss and you go do a palace that you can do, because Goomba can be very, very frustrating.
Yeah, I agree with the trails, especially since jkoper knows where the boss is and Goomba, as long as he remembers it. That's definitely the way that I would predict that he will go as well.
Yeah, with this shield spell, that's definitely not gonna be a one shot at that point. So he'll be pretty good to go back in on Goomba at that point.
And extra heart container as well.
Yeah,
and better life levels. Yeah, it'll just be better all around. Certainly not, free or guaranteed, but it'll just be a lot better of an experience.
I mean, this isn't too terrible of a walk to go down to 3-eyed rock if the boss is pretty close to start. If we don't know that, that's obviously going to be a gamble, but it will really work out in his favor if the boss is close to start, and he's able to just take him out very quickly and then just head back north.
I also wonder if he's going to take the gamble just to see if Fairy's down here. I could definitely see that being part of this thought process as well. Hey,
okay, well, actually, they cannot. They have jump, and that is in the old Kasuto spot, and then they don't have the... Oh, I'm sorry, Ellendar does have the hammer, so he can check New Kasuto if he wants to. I was looking at jkoper's screen, who doesn't have the hammer there. So yeah, I guess Ellendar could make that check in New Kasuto for sure.
Yeah, and also, I do think that it is randomized whether the hammer is required or not for New Kasuto. I could be wrong.
In a standard East continent, it will definitely be required.
Okay. I have seen where that's been open though.
Really? Like, oh, it's funny. Sometimes 3-eyed rock is wide open. That's funny you say that. So I guess that could be possible.
Yeah, that's part of the flag. That's it randomizes whether or not it's going to be hidden behind the grass tile. So even if it is vanilla, it's just 3-eyed rocks open. Here it is.
That's so weird that those 2 flags affect the vanilla rule set like that, whereas like the water walkable with boots does not.
Yeah, you don't think about it, but it makes sense once you think about it.
Yeah, I don't play really enough vanilla continents here in the randomizer. Probably vanilla shuffled more often.
Yeah, I don't see it come up too often, but I have seen it. So yeah, see here, 3-eyed rocks open. Yeah. So there you go. There's a good chance that the New Kasuto's open too if Ellendar wants to take the cave trip, but it doesn't look like it.
So this trip down south here, P2 could be a little trolly. This might allow jkoper to close the gap for however far he's behind. Kind of difficult to calculate. If he can find Rebanak quickly, then he's going to be out of there and probably back to P5, which is not too far from start, and he knows where Goomba's at. And so if he can get rid of Goomba very quickly, they might be entering into GP at the same time, seeing as there's a little bit of a walk back here for Ellendar. All right, well, here's some of it.
Wow, and that look at the play that Ellendar has made, able to find the boss within 3 rooms, basically. So this was certainly a risk, but it has paid off masterfully for Ellendar.
Yeah, and we know that Rebanak is a little bit of a dig into P3 here. Although I think jkoper's on the right trail.
Yeah, jkoper is going the right way. It's like 2 rooms from here. But yeah, jkoper's still gotta do P5 right after this. Ellendar's going to have a few minutes of an advantage going into GP, and we'll see just how tricky this GP could be. I would say the best bet, and okay, Ellendar is going to check New Kasuto if there is Fairy, actually.
Yeah, I mean, having the knowledge of if it's not Nukusudo, then it's definitely Darunia. I would probably still, if I had that knowledge, still just jump into GP, see if Fairy is going to be hard required somewhere. And, if it is, then I know that Darunia is the answer. Or maybe I got it for free in Nukusudo at that point. So, yeah.
Yeah, that goes to our discussing point earlier that you don't want to do 2 trips down here. You just want to do 1. So even though it is a little bit longer to check this, you just feel better knowing that you'll have to come back down here. But it is Fairy, so that turned out to be quite well.
Yeah, and he is guaranteed entry to this woman's basement here to get whatever item is in here. Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah.
Does he have spell? I guess he does. Yeah, he does have spell, so he could go for the spell item as well.
That would be even huger if there was another heart container.
Yeah, or another magic container even.
I guess what could still help jkoper here is the fact that he has that shield spell, and that could change things. Oh,
yeah.
jkoper deciding not to go back to Maze Island here. He's looking like he's going to head south as well. Taking the gamble on the 3-odd Rock Palace. We know it's a good gamble to make.
Yeah, it certainly is. I'm a little surprised just because he knows where Guma is, but Guma was kind of a pain last time, so. And our child was locked into the spell tower.
All right, jkoper actually taking a quick detour over to Death Mountain here. You said we had seen the rock earlier. Maybe he's looking for the rock real fast. Or not.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what he was looking for in Death Mountain. Maybe he got a little confused as to where he's going.
All right, well, Ellendar about to head into GP here, right around the 50-minute mark here.
And yeah, that was just a really big time play for Ellendar. He's guaranteed not to get blocked by anything. Or I guess upstab. I'm not sure if Ellendar has upstab. We haven't seen. I'm gonna guess not. But that would be pretty rare as well. If that was the case.
Immediately greeted by fun here in GP.
Yeah, this GP does not look great. Luckily, Ellendar does have the jump spell, but as you were talking about earlier, he does not have the shield spell, so depending on how long this GP is, this could be pretty brutal. But luckily, there are 4 lives, so.
Yeah, that's a great redeeming factor. Here's the high extra lives count. Ouch. He's taking full damage from those beams and those bodies and everything, and that shield spell on jkoper's side may actually really help here.
Oh, you know it will. This is a really tough starting room, so probably means that the rest of the GP enemies are just not going to be friendly. You can usually tell a few rooms early on how the GP rooms it does have upstab, so I was wrong. It did start with upstab.
You're not alone. I had no idea. I had not seen an upstab move the entire time, so yeah.
Me neither.
It's not something you use just casually usually, so yeah, that's interesting. Oh,
no. Yeah, you're right. Usually it is up until GP where you would consider using it.
Maybe in some encounters where there are spiders or some moas flying above you or something, you might see a runner use it, but otherwise it's not something that comes up quite anywhere near as often as downstab.
Yeah, and Trails with a good point that jkoper has found the boss very quickly. Found Helmet Head real quickly, so me placing his 4th gem as well. It'll be interesting to me to see whether he goes to Nukusudo or not.
Yeah, I'm waiting to see if he makes that move. That's got to be in the back of his mind, whether it's Darunia or Nukusudo that has Fairy.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's going to consider it pretty heavily here. Not just because we know that that's Fairy, but just in general. Even if that wasn't Fairy, I would still consider it.
So this room is This room is a perfect example for where shield is going to come in handy. Bodying these Bogos or getting hit by these dots is incredibly dangerous. That's one full heart container every time they get bopped. So he made it through there very nicely. Oh, there's that one. But those are going to hurt a lot without the shield. Again, a shield spell going to have that damage.
Well, jkoper did not take the gamble to check. I can't blame him fully for that, especially if you feel like you're behind. You're like, hey, I need to get in the GP as quickly as possible, so that's what he's going to be doing.
Yeah, I feeling, double dipping P1 and having a rough time in P3, but Ellendar also having a rough time in P3. Everyone checking P5 and wasting time in P5. He doesn't know what his opponent's been doing, although it's kind of similar across the board here, but he definitely feels like he's probably not been doing so hot. You've got that really the reaction from him on that Goomba death that he took, and that was. He knows he's not playing top of his game right now.
Yeah, so another thing to point out as well, jkoper is at life 7 and has shield, but is 1 heart container off from Ellendar. I would still think jkoper's still in a better life position with
yes.
heart container, but
I agree.
Doesn't have the full floor that Ellendar is enjoying right now.
We did see that the beams from the blue Foca only took half a heart container from him with shield on, so that was, I don't know how that compares. That's going to be a full heart container for Ellendar then on his side if he gets beamed again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
Both of our runners going low in this room. I prefer to go high, especially because you may find something on that bottom area there that you don't want to find, and going high allows you to skip that.
Yeah, it is an interesting choice, for sure. Oh, here's Thunderbird.
Not a hard requirement just yet, as we see jkoper in one of the branches that we saw.
Mm-hmm. I think Ellendar went down the elevator.
Yeah.
So we're going to see a branching a path here, so...
And this has got to be perfect. I'm pretty sure this is going to be a one-shot with his current life level and health amount. Well, okay, yeah, so they both have waffle over lava rooms, but Ellendar's was a whole lot more difficult.
Yeah, this is a different waffle room. Yeah, I was going to ask if jkoper... Yeah, they both started out with jump. I was going to wonder if jkoper was going to cast jump there with enemies, but...
Yeah, it looks like I didn't see how much life refill, but it doesn't really need to refill that much, especially when your maximum heart container count is only 3.
Alright, let's see what this elevator has. A lot of branches, that's for sure.
This is a room that burned jkoper in a previous race during the SGL tournament, is that he didn't check right in here, but neither did his opponent for a long time, and that one was a room that led directly to Darklink, and so maybe that's something that he's thinking about. He's going to check right there and not check down.
Oh, that's a ferry to get back.
That's very true. Another death for Ellendar, and that's going to be a game over on Thunderbird there. See if he goes back that same direction on his way through now.
Yeah, so jkoper does have some options here as well, so... not completely, I guess, trapped over here, but... yeah, that's... He is fairy locked if both of these are dead ends.
Yeah, just real fast. Watching Ellendar's screen there, he took 3 beams and a fireball, and that was a death right there. Without that shield spell, that he has taken full damage.
Yeah, this first room is just a really brutal start to this GP.
It might be worth casting Thunder right when you come down to knock the blue bird backwards.
It looks like that's what he was doing.
Trails is, you're right. I thought I saw more than one on the beam, but I wasn't entirely sure. I know it was half the heart container with shield on, so I just thought it was double that. I thought shield was an automatic 50% halving of damage.
jkoper showing off his knowledge of the red jars, and that is becoming really helpful as to refilling his life. Upstab required. Luckily, both of our runners, well, not upstab required, you can clip, but upstab makes this a lot easier, I should say.
Yeah, and jkoper also showing us there's quite a bit of palace back here in the direction that isn't Thunderbird. Even some elevator direction checks that he hasn't checked himself so far.
Yeah, it really could be anywhere. It could be down this elevator, it could be behind Thunderbird. Here it is.
Wow! That's a comeback right there. Wow, there it is. Thunderbird not required. Oh my.
Yeah, I believe that was like a 3-minute difference heading into GP, so some great navigation skills by jkoper ultimately led the difference into this GP. And get your GPs out for jkoper to be able to finish with an official time around, looks like 58:41.
Yeah, official race time.gg race room showing us 58:47. I'm sorry, you're right. You're right. 58:41 indeed. Sorry, that's what Ellendar has gone ahead forfeited. And hello, Ellendar. Welcome to the commentator booth.
Hey, GG's. Yeah, I mean, when I think the big decision of that race was going into 5 instead of going south in the east, and I knew like this was basically coin flipping for the race. Probably. I mean, I played terribly in GP, but it turned out to be like I didn't want to go east because it's a long trek to the first palace that I could get to. It could have been 4, and if it was like 50-50 to be 4, and I didn't have Reflect or the spell item to get Reflect. And if it wasn't Reflect, I would have had to trek all the way through Death Mountain, and it would have been just forever. And I'm like, I know where 5 is. Maybe it's not that bad. And everything went wrong about that line of thought.
Yeah, jkoper is in the waiting room. He bounced in, bounced out. I'm going to wait till he's in here rather than have to say twice. Okay. Welcome, jkoper. GG on that win.
Hey, thanks. I don't think I deserved it. I don't know. I'm guessing that I wasn't first in the GP.
You probably were.
Ellendar, you were in about 3 minutes before jkoper was.
Wow. Was Darklink, was it like a stupid left, or did I actually die right before him on Thunderbird?
Thunderbird not required.
Yeah,
okay, I was screwed anyway.
I just went the right way. That's all it was.
Oh, you just got lucky. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's Max Rando, right? Like, that 100% happens.
Yeah.
That makes me feel a little better. What did you do for your 4th palace? I'm curious. Like, I assume you did 1, 3, and 6, but...
I did, and I also did 2. I actually went and fought Guma early and spent a lot of time on him and game overed. And then, you know what? I thought about going back to 5 at the end. My only problem was that I couldn't 100% remember how to get back there. So I just was like, well, I know where this palace is. I'm just going to go there. And
so we basically did the same route.
I guess.
I didn't even find Guma. I spent forever in 5. The only path I knew, there was probably another path somewhere because it was 8 million paths. Maybe the left at the start. But
yeah, it was left at the start. When I went into 5, I was like, well, I don't know how much I want to find Guma. I was like, I would be cool finding an item. So I'm just going to go left, and then if I run into Guma, then I'll fight him. And then he was pretty much right there when you went left. I mean, it wasn't immediate, but it was not a difficult path when you went left.
Yeah, because if you went to right, it was a maze.
Yeah.
And the only path I didn't check left was a fairy block. And fairy was in New Kasuto, and I'm like, man, all right, I've lost this race, but what can I do about it? So
yeah.
I think the item in there was where the medicine was.
Oh.
So
what was that blocking? I don't even know.
Reflect.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And so I went to get Reflect because I didn't know whether that was 2 or 4.
Sure, fair enough.
So I went to get Reflect, saying, okay, at least now I'm safe. I'll be able to clear it. 2 ended up being like 3 rooms or whatever it was.
Yeah, it was.
And then I felt,
very short.
I'm like, okay, I dug forever in 5. I was like, do I do 5 or do I do 2? I dug forever in 5. 2 was a joke. I figured at this point I'm like infinitely far behind. My only chance of beating jkoper is check New Kasuto, see if it's meta, or I check if New Kasuto was fairy.
Okay.
Because if that was, and it was if it was fairy required GP, then I'm way ahead, right? I go from losing 15 minutes in 5 to being ahead, and I'm like, it's not that long of a check. It ended up being fairy and also a hard container. And so I was real happy about that, but like still coming into GP, I'm like, I've got to be like, jkoper's going to finish any second now. And then
I don't know, I was slow.
I died on Thunderbird. I had 2 lives left on Thunderbird, and I took 1 death to hitting the 1 pixel at the edge of a thing that stops all your momentum.
Yeah.
And then I took a second. His pattern got slightly off, and I was trying to reset him in the corner, and he did the death thing where there's a fireball low and a fireball high.
Mm.
And it's like, okay, well. And I was thinking, do I go back towards Thunderbird? Do I try and take a random left? And then that was right up the time that you got done, and I'm like, okay, well, that's good. I don't have to do this anymore. Because I probably would have gone back to Thunderbird and been sad.
Yeah. Yeah. The path that I took through GP was not particularly difficult at all, I guess. I went through a couple of waffle rooms. There was one point where I went up an elevator, and I could have gone right at the bottom of the elevator, or I could have gone right at the top of the elevator. And the elevator was a couple screens high, so I was like, I'm just gonna go right here. Otherwise, I don't know. I think there was one other decision before that I had that was kind of similar.
I just took every elevator sort of standard route, and it took you straight to Thunderbird, and I'm like, well, I'm feeling okay. But yeah, no, just if I got into GP first, I don't feel so bad about losing to GP RNG. So yeah,
what so how many containers did you have?
I ended up on 4, which is probably a lot for this seed.
Yeah, I had 3 hearts, so you did have that extra one out of New Kasuto, I guess. Probably
and it made the difference on Thunderbird. Although life spell was 2 hearts, it was very frustrating.
Yeah, I think my biggest regret in 5 was that I went there before I got shield and before I got that easy 3rd heart. I think my first heart was Maze Island, maybe, and then
P1.
What? It was P1. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's right. But then there was a heart in a cave on the west.
I just blitzed all the caves on the west.
Yeah.
Found the east, found Death Mountain, found Maze Island, and it was like, okay, well, this is everything.
Yeah. I was just
clear some palaces.
I was just slightly out of it. Could have used a little more sleep. And feeling like I was having trouble keeping track of everything. Yeah. Anyway, in the end, I got lucky, I guess. I played okay, but that game over at Guma was pretty costly. If I would have beaten him when I was there, I feel like I would have deserved this a little more. But
yeah, and that would have saved probably at least 5 minutes just in walking.
Yeah, maybe not having to walk all the way to P2 or choosing to go back to P5. Either way, it was a fairly long walk, I suppose.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing in a seed like this that ultimately ended up making the difference that Mariah and I both noticed is that jkoper was able to find the trophy and suck in P-Bag Cave, which led him to get the shield, and the shield spell made a really big difference, especially in GP.
Oh man, yeah, that
huge.
Would have been nice. Which P-Bag Cave was it in?
It was at Suckin' P-Bag Cave.
Next to the River Devil.
Yeah, I just skipped it because at that point I was already far enough that I'm like, I don't really like. I had three containers by that point, and I'm like already thinking I'm behind by the time I passed by, and I'm like, whatever, I'm not. But yeah, shield spell would have been real nice.
Yeah, as a quick comparison, there was jkoper was taking half a heart container per beam with shield enabled, and you were taking what we thought was over a heart container per beam, which seems a little excessive, but it seemed like you were taking a lot of damage in there. But jkoper did also have life 7.
Yeah, 6 and 7 may have been different. I ended up on 556, which was like 100%, whatever.
Yeah.
That's good enough.
So I was noticing in the last palace I did that life 6 seemed pretty good.
Yeah.
What I thought. Yeah.
Attack 3 Barba sucked. That took a while.
Yeah, I think I also had attack 3, and then I died once, and that was really frustrating. But then I did it the second time. Yeah, that was certainly time consuming too. It's also frustrating because there were certainly opportunities to get attack 4, I think, and that might have saved a lot of time. But it's really hard to pass up that life 5 when you've got like 2 containers. So I don't know. Anyway, fun.
Yeah, well, I mean, real quick, the early game was something that Ellendar, you were out the gate. As you said, you cleared the west. You just power cleared the west, and then you were in the P1 right away. jkoper, you did a little bit of west clearing, then you hit the east, did digging around on there, spent a lot of time on there, kind of walked around Death Mountain as well off the raft tile a little bit, and that was a lot of time spent. And I think by the time you made it back to the west, you then dipped into P1, but Ellendar was already, I think, into and perhaps almost through his second palace at that point. And even you had to come back and double dip P1, I believe, you got the item, then you left, and then you came back later to kill Horsehead and place the gem. And I don't exactly remember why that was, or if it was apparent why that happened, but I
left just because I was like, well, I've got 1 life left, so I might as well just, I didn't have any experience that I was giving up or anything. I'm like, I'm just going to call this good for now, and then I'll come back and finish it off later.
Okay.
I noticed, you probably weren't watching my splits, but I did, I split like I completed the palace, and I'm like, no, I didn't actually complete anything. I got to go back there yet, so, yeah, I was just like, maybe I'll get another heart somewhere and make it easier, and I did. I don't know that it was all that worthwhile to come back there with another heart. It wasn't necessarily the easiest P1 in the world, but I probably could have finished it just fine had I gone immediately back in. But I mean, I guess had I gone immediately back in, you never know what would have happened. That something could have blocked me. Where something might not have blocked me later, even though I had almost all of the items. I figured, you're not going to gain much from the boss besides levels. So,
right.
It wasn't hard to get back there, and I figured it was easy enough to just put it off and go back later. So, I don't know. There's arguments for both. Probably a slightly better decision to go back in, but I just felt like I needed to walk around and actually try to find the rest of the caves in the west or something. So
yeah, we were Animus and I were wondering when you were going to come back to the west and finish clearing those caves, because we saw Ellendar pick up that second heart not too far into the seed, and we're thinking, okay, jkoper's in the east. He's going to clear some stuff out here, but how much is he going to dig into here? You already had the flute. You could have gone south at that point, I believe. You didn't. Thankfully, you came back to the west, and then you did finish clearing some stuff, and you did eventually find that second heart. But Ellendar was on his third heart by then because of... you did eventually find that third heart. Ellendar had his third heart for a while because he found it on the west, found the second one on the west, found the third one in P1, and then eventually... And again, Ellendar... as much time as both of you wasted in P5, you both spent a little bit of time in P3, which was a little trolly as well. P6 was pretty clean. And I know that once you got that medicine, we saw you pick up the medicine. Animus was like, it's tied to reflect. And we're thinking, okay, well, that opens up Three-Eyed Rock then, because before it would have been a 50-50 gamble, as you were saying, Ellendar, that it could have been P4 without reflect. That would have sucked going all the way into Death Valley to find P2. That was going to be a huge time sink. And so that was, having reflect and then going south. That was really nice because you would have been able to do the palace regardless. jkoper took that gamble, still just happened to be P2. But Ellendar, you had such a lead at that point that you did go and check New Kasuto, get that fourth heart and the fairy spell, and that could have been the saving grace. That could have been it. But we always thought that shield spell was going to come in so handy, that jkoper just found that that trophy in Sunken Peaback Cave so early. You didn't turn it in right away, but you eventually did. And then right then, once you had that shield spell, you were in really good condition.
Yeah. How did I get to Maze Island again? I really don't remember. I'm trying to remember.
It was just a cave in the northeast of the west.
Okay. Yeah. Because I remember thinking when I was on Maze Island and in P5, I'm like, I got this trophy that could give me shield. And before I dig this, I probably should get shield, and that might have saved me. But yeah, because Guma was definitely one shot, and then I still had 2 hearts. Yeah, that would have been smart, I think, to up an A at some point there, and maybe come back to 5 with the shield spell, perhaps. But anyway, otherwise it was certainly interesting. But lots of choices to make at every turn. It was like we kind of started with everything we need, and it was just a battle of can you survive to the end for the most part. So
yeah, it was a great setup from the start. Yeah, that Max Rando 1 heart container start, but having some hearts available not too far after starting the seed is always nice to see. If it would have been kind of the long game with 1 heart container, it probably would have been a lot of frustration from everyone's perspective.
Yeah, probably. All right. Well, thanks for the commentary, Mirai, Animus, and thanks, Ricky, for helping out too. Feels good to have 2 wins, I guess, and this community is it's not huge, but it's pretty deep with talent, I think, and when we get to the bracket, it's going to be pretty competitive, so it'll feel good just to get to the bracket at this point, I think, and having 2 wins obviously goes a long ways towards getting there, so yeah, I think that does it for me, and good luck to all of you in your future races.
Thanks a lot, jkoper.
Congratulations, and have a great one.
GG's to both of our runners. I don't have any final thoughts. Animus, do you have anything before Ricky sends us off? Or Ellendar as well?
I'm good. Just want to reiterate thanks to the commentators and trackers and restreamers and everyone who makes these streams possible.
All right then. With that, we're going to go and wrap this up. Thank you to jkoper and Ellendar for the awesome race. It was great to watch. Thank you to Mirai and Animus United for the commentary. Did a fantastic job. Coming up in just 40 minutes on the main ZSR channel, we have another Z2R Max Rando tournament match between Dr. J, PhD, and Level Engine. So stick around for that. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, we have an opening of time lockout bingo tournament semi-finals match between Top 3000 and Nali. So that's going to be pretty hype as well. And with that, we're going to sign off here. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you had a wonderful time and have a fantastic rest of your night. Bye!